Hi there. Let's have a look at this question. Before we get into this, I recommend that you give it a try on your own. Let's have a look. If all of the statements above are true, okay, so there are three statements here, all of them are supposed to be true, then which of the following must also be true? Okay, if this is true, this is true, this is true, then which of the following must also be true? Okay, all right, slightly unusual question, unusual type of a question for critical reasoning, but yeah, let's still take a look. If A then B, okay, so that means if A happens, then B is definitely gonna happen. If B then C, okay, if B then C, if B happens, C definitely happens, and if C then D, so if C then D, right, if C happens, D definitely happens. I see that there are some sort of overlaps here, so let me simplify all of this. If A happens, B happens, and again because B happens, C also happens, I can also write it this way, right? And continuing in same direction, we can say that if A happens, B happens, because B happens, C happens, and because C happens, D happens. So we can also say something like A happens, C happens, or B happens, D happens, or A happens, D happens. They are all sort of things that I can derive from this piece of information, right? Let's see if any of this is also there in answer choices. If D then A, okay, do we know if D happens then A must have happened, right? Is there any other way that we could have gotten D? Okay, let's not get it it's slightly confusing to think in terms of A's and B's and everything. Okay, let's take an example. Let's say if I let's say if I okay, if I take a vacation, this is A part, if I take a vacation, right, then it has to be a beach, right? Okay, so this is basically A and this is B. Okay, if I go to a beach, I will definitely take a swim. Okay, so this is basically B and C. And let's do the third sentence. If I take a swim, I will definitely get wet. Okay, it's kind of a funny example, but yeah, I think that sort of drives home the point. So basically that means that if I take a vacation, I go to a beach. If I go to a beach, I'll take a swim. If I take a swim, I'll get wet. Okay, now in terms of that, let's sort of ignore all this part here. Okay, that's more technical. Let's look at this. Answer choice A, if I get wet, then I am taking a vacation. Is that true? No, may not be. I could be wet because I am taking a shower, right? Or maybe I am going for a swim but not on a vacation. It's not saying that you have to take a swim only when you are at the beach. Okay, that's not what is said here. It says if you go to a beach, you will take a swim. Okay, so for D to happen, A may or may not have happened, but if A happens, then D definitely happens. But if D happens, we are not sure if A happens. Okay, so this can't be said to be true. Okay, understand the logic here, right? Okay, if not B, that means if I am not at a beach, then I am not taking a swim. Okay, I'm reading in this language. If I'm not at a beach, then I'm not taking a swim. Doesn't have to be true, because I could be taking a swim in my local swimming pool, right? I don't have to be at a beach. Again, the same thing. Okay, so whenever there is a not here, you the only sort of thing that I can say in this relation with a not is that when not B, then not A. Okay, but we can't say that if not A, then not B, right? So be very careful with this not thing. Okay, if not B, then not C, I can't say that. But if not C, then not B, if it was that way, then that would have been true. For example, in this case, if I'm not taking a swim, then that definitely means that I'm not at a beach, because if I were at a beach, I would have definitely be taking a swim. Okay, so that way, but that's not the order here. If the order was reverse, that could have been the correct answer choice, but the order is not reverse, so let's rule this out. Okay, let's see. If not D, then not A. if I am not wet, then I am not on a vacation. Okay, that's correct. That's because that is the same thing as this, as I explained here. Okay, not D means not A, right? Also, in terms of this our example, we can say that if I am not wet, then I am not on a vacation, because if I were on a vacation, I would have been at a beach. If I would have been at a beach, I would have been taking a swim, and if I would have been taking swim, I would have been wet. But I'm not wet, so that means I'm not on a vacation, right? That's this part. Okay, so again, two different ways of to look at it. Even if you don't understand the mechanics of this, this is sort of the core part. Okay, still you can take an example and sort of figure it out. Okay, but this is the correct, likely to be a correct answer choice. Let's keep this on hold. If D, then E. I don't have any information about E. I don't know why they have this thing. Okay, so this is how it's a very stupid answer choice. Okay, but be very careful. Many times, when you have ABCD and everything, you might just read it slightly differently, and you might say maybe this is A or B or something. Okay, so be very careful. This is completely cannot be inferred, okay, at all. If not A, then not D. Again, the same thing. If I'm not on a vacation, then I cannot be wet. No, that's really stupid. Okay, I could be wet in any other way that's not related to vacation. So again, so that's out. Okay, the correct answer choice here is C. Now the thing to note here is, first of all, the technicality is this. Okay, that's one thing, but more importantly, even if you don't know the technicality, right, you can always take an example and work it out. So that is sort of the takeaway from this question.